when you saw Buffalo blow out Denver in the second half, and you saw Baltimore blow out the Steelers in the first half, don't get me started with that. I came into the weekend thinking Buffalo is going to take Baltimore out when they meet in a divisional playoff round. Now I'm not so sure. Based on me watching Buffalo, I know they won. They had a strong second half, but you get to the red zone 5 times, only convert once. I think you need more. You got to have 41-18 advantage in time of possession. That's not going to happen against Baltimore next week. How are you feeling about that encounter that's coming up?
Oh, this is an epic battle right here. I mean, because all the pressure is on these quarterbacks, not only the franchises, but on these quarterbacks to be able, how far can they advance in the Patrick Mahomes era, and who's going to be able to knock Patrick Mahomes off the throne. But there's tremendous amount of pressure. Man, I mean, this game, though, is I can't believe we're debating over the MVP because the way that Baltimore has played as a team, where would they be without Lamar Jackson? I mean, when you have the type of numbers that he's 13 more touchdowns than Josh Allen, 400 more yards than him passing.
I get that, CC. Let me interrupt. And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why it's debatable. All right, because even with Lamar Jackson's great numbers, you came into the season with expectations for him in Baltimore in light of the fact that you're still Baltimore and you acquired Derrick Henry. In Buffalo's case, there's no Stephon Diggs. There's no Gabe Davis. And you look at him losing his 2 primary weapons. And plus, McDermott was on a hot seat and wholesale changes were made on the defensive side of the ball. A lot of people didn't expect Buffalo to have a great season, let alone be the number 2 overall seed. That would be the reason for the debate, CC.
Okay, no problem. We can have that conversation. But let me tell you something. He didn't play better than me. Every year we got circumstances. I've been MVP twice. I'm having an epic season, not only based on my standards, but based on NFL standards. So he still didn't play better than me. This is like the great quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers, them. They have put the standard so high. And then someone comes maybe close to it, and we're like, oh, he's the MVP. But he didn't play better than Lamar. Lamar had the best season. Did he have a surprising season? Yes. Now, that's a different conversation. But did he have the MVP best season of any quarterback? No, he did not. So that would be the conversation that I would continue. Expectations based on, no, what actually happened. So now we're giving him MVP because we didn't have expectations. Joe Burrow had an MVP type season. He had a questionable risk coming into the season, but we're not giving him the MVP.
No, that's because they're 9-8. But that don't matter. Your argument is profound. I got to give it to you. You're right about Lamar Jackson. Let's stay with Baltimore and Pittsburgh in this regard. Now that Pittsburgh has lost, Mike Tomlin hasn't won a playoff game since 2016. They're one and done at least 5 times. You got people speculating about a lot of different things. The Steelers obviously ain't going to make changes. They don't fire coaches. They've never fired a coach. What are your thoughts about Mike Tomlin? 6 straight postseason losses. And by the way, I mean, they just don't score as well. When you consider what's been transpiring, what do you do if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers when it comes to Mike Tomlin, CC?
In the modern salary cap era, the Pittsburgh Steelers system does not work, bro. Like, you cannot say, I'm not going to participate in free agency. All the money that you're making as a family, your philosophy is obsolete. Oh, I'm going to only sign a couple of the players that I draft to their 2nd or 3rd contract. See, Mike Tomlin's been battling that. No one even talks about that ever, the economics of it. I mean, he is at a decisive disadvantage than people like Baltimore, Kansas City. Like, these people are spending bread, man, to get guys to come play for their team. All right, not only do they have a franchise quarterback, they got people, they are going out of their way to make them highest paid at their position. Man, so, how many concessions do you want players to make to come to Pittsburgh when I can go somewhere else and get paid? So if we're going to start talking about Mike Tomlin and we're going to start talking about it in the right vein, it should really be about, man, is he limited there in Pittsburgh? Would he be a better coach somewhere else? where they were spending up to the salary cap and they were participating free agency. And also, imagine Mike Tomlin recruiting. Now he can get the kind of dudes that he wants to get. Oh, now that's a different conversation. So Pittsburgh, be careful. Don't step on yourself because you run a program that Mike Tomlin's familiar with, and that program can only get you first round, a divisional round, maybe in the second round, but it is not going to get you with the elite teams because everyone is spending money now.
Chicago's in the market for a head coach. New Orleans, the Dallas Cowboys, Mike McCarthy, he's gone. He's gone now because him and Jerry Jones couldn't reach an accord on a contract extension. What would be the best place for Mike Tomlin, and who should want Mike Tomlin more than anybody?
Well, Mike Tomlin going to Chicago is a game changer. Not only are you going to get the benefit of what he coaches on the defensive side, but you got a sure superstar in Caleb Williams at the quarterback. And I can guarantee you, when Mike Tomlin gets him a quarterback, just like when he had with Ben Roethlisberger, even though they weren't spending up to the cap like other teams, the Chicago Bears are ready for a quick turnaround. If they don't get Mike Tomlin, get someone like Ben Johnson, someone that can affect that offense. I mean, the way Ben Johnson calls plays, I remember when Mike Marks used to call plays with the Rams. I'm like, my God, I never seen that play before. I mean, the way they throw the ball, the way they attack the defense. So I do believe Mike Tomlin would be a great fit in Chicago. I believe Mike Tomlin would be a great fit with the Dallas Cowboys. Why? Because he understands hierarchy. And I do believe that Jerry Jones, having someone like Mike Tomlin, he would give away some of that power because he knows there's no rebuild. Mike Tomlin's ready to go now. And I'm sure, man, that locker room would respond to Mike Tomlin being named. So Chicago Bears, Dallas Cowboys. I mean, any team that's got aspirations of trying to get their team in the Super Bowl in the next 3 years, Mike Tomlin, they should be calling Pittsburgh trying to work out a trade.
Yourself disappointed in the Philadelphia Eagles yesterday, offensively, that is. Did you find yourself disappointed in what you saw against Green Bay?
Well, I'm not going to say disappointed, but I was concerned when you miss 2 or 3 weeks of practice coming down the stretch and you don't have that continuity. And they have had times where their passing games has been average to bad. So now you miss that time. And this is not something that, Jayden is not a natural thrower of the football of like the great quarterbacks that we've had who played in the NFL now and the ones of the past. So when you miss 2 weeks of practice time because of concussion, you're not in your normal schedule. Yes, I could see their passing game being off, especially with the inconsistent way their passing game was during the regular season.
What did you think about A.J. Brown being seen on the sidelines reading the book? What did you think about that? I mean, it was motivation. I thought he was doing it to keep his cool because he was so disgusted by being targeted just 3 times and catching 1 pass for 10 yards. I think he's just meditating, trying to keep himself cool. But what did you make of all of that?
Very, very wide receiver-ish. And A.J. Brown, the more he plays, the more diva wide receiver things that he starts to add to his repertoire. He is a great player, but I do believe there are a number of issues that he personally has with the quarterback. And when you open up a book like that compared to open up a conversation and communicating, that's just another sign that what they have in Philadelphia, it could be very, very fragile.
I know we've seen some great things over their careers thus far. In Jordan Love's case, in the regular season and the postseason, and Justin Herbert, just the regular season. But what are you to make of what you saw of their performances this weekend? I mean, Jordan Love, 3 interceptions. Justin Herbert, 4 interceptions. He threw 3 interceptions the entire regular season and threw 4 interceptions over 32 pass attempts yesterday. I mean, Saturday. What the hell is going on with them?
On and off the field, man, you are judged based on what do you do under the worst of conditions? Like, how do you respond? And when you have the responsibility of taking care of that football and you throw the football in harm's way, now, and Jordan Love has done this more so than Herbert. But when you have the worst game of your career, statistically, all these things, they should be criticized. Like, we criticize the quarterbacks a lot in the playoffs. because they're the only player touching the ball all the time. Now, yeah, can that be aided by injuries? Can that be aided by drop passes? Yes. But when we give them all the credit, because we give them the big contract, we should be criticizing these two quarterbacks. You know, Jim Harbaugh is not expecting that from his quarterback. Uber talented the way he is, conservative the way Harbaugh is, that is not a championship match right there. I do expect him to to repair that next season because he had a great regular season, only throwing 3 interceptions, 4 yesterday. But Jordan Love, he is more of a gambler. Like he's going to throw the ball in arm's way more so than the other quarterbacks compared. I believe in protecting the football. When you protect the football, you protect the franchise. Protect the franchise, you protect my job.
giờ mình sẽ gặp 3 cái hình này lại nha. Một này, 2 này,